and welcome to a new edition of Africa Today. And in this edition of the program, we will focus on Egyptian-Rwandan relations as President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi receives Rwandan President Paul Kagame on Tuesday at Al-Ittihadiyya Presidential Palace. Presidential spokesman Mohamed Shinawi said the visit comes within the framework of both countries' efforts to boost bilateral ties, open new horizons for cooperation in different fields of mutual concern. And more on Egyptian-Rwandan relations in the coming report. Egypt and Rwanda enjoy excellent and diversified relations in many political, economic, cultural and developmental fields, sharing common interests in various regional and international issues. In addition to their membership in different regional organizations, including COMESA, NEPAD Initiative, the African Union, and the Nile Basin Initiative. The Egyptian-Rwandan Joint Commission was established in September 1989. The second round of this Joint Commission was held in Cairo from the 7th to the 10th of September 2009, presided over by ministers of foreign affairs of both countries, and it witnessed the signing of 10 documents of cooperation in different fields, including economical and technical cooperation, agriculture, customs, youth, industrial development, petroleum and mineral resources, education, health, culture, scientific and technological cooperation. In the framework of contributing to the wealth creation through the promotion of tourism, trade and investment between the two countries, the embassy will continue to engage the growing number of members of the Egyptian business community willing to visit Rwanda in order to explore existing investment opportunities. The recent developments attested excellent bilateral relations between the two countries, materialized by exchange of visits between the two countries. In 2017, President Sisi made a state visit to Rwanda as part of a four-nation tour. In June 2019, the Rwandan Foreign Minister Dr. Richard Sezibera working visit to Cairo. He discussed trade, investment, air transport, migration, defense cooperation and preparation for the next Joint Permanent Commission. And Egypt and Rwanda agreed on boosting cooperation in water files. Here is the full story.
Cairo announced the signing of an MOU between Egypt and Rwanda to implement developmental projects. The projects cover Rwanda's water needs and organizing training programs to exchange expertise in the field of water management and early alarm to face water crises. Cairo said suggestions for developmental projects include protecting water ponds to guarantee their quality and sustainability, digging wells and constructing dams to save rainwaters to provide clean water for Rwandans. It said Egypt is keen on boosting bilateral cooperation with Nile Basin countries to protect its share in the shared river, its main source of water, in light of the continued controversy over the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. The dam was built on the main tributary of the Nile River since 2011 with the aim of producing electricity, which impacts the water shares of the two downstream countries, Egypt and Sudan.
To shed more light on the importance of this visit by the Rwandan president, we are joined over the phone by Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good afternoon, Mr. Ambassador.
Hello, how are you?
So, sir, how do you see the timing of the visit by the Rwandan president?
It's always important to receive brothers from Africa. So it's not a matter of timing. We are always in Africa. Egypt is the most acceptable face in Africa, and we have in every capital in Africa a small embassy and ambassador and representatives. And I enjoyed very much being an Egyptian living in Africa, in many places in Africa. Coming to Rwanda, it's a dear country. It has a long history with Egypt during the time of occupation by the colonialism. And we helped them to be liberal. And it used that Rwanda and the Burundi were one country and they separated from each other. I remember in 1964, during the first African summit in Cairo, the king of Burundi and Rwanda, there was one country, came, my colleague who was accompanying him, asking how can I talk to Gamal Abdel Nasser. Gamal Abdel Nasser for them was a big leader, a big hero. So my colleague encouraged him to talk to Gamal Abdel Nasser as a brother and a dear friend. And it was a wonderful meeting there. He asked to help him to build the presidency building. He asked him many things there. Now we are presented in all these countries with our fund to finance projects in Africa, and this is a very good element in our relations. And I always ask to double and increase the capital of such a fund, because it will help the relations, it will help the investment of Egypt in many African countries. So Rwanda is an old, dear, friendly country, and they are welcome anytime to come to Cairo.
So, sir, how do you see the importance of boosting ties among Nile Basin countries?
It is very important, of course, and as I see, they come to Cairo as a very dear country, a very friendly country, the biggest country in Africa, and the most giving country to the African aid and assistance. So this is normal, this sort of feelings, exchange between us and any African country. And Rwanda is not far from all these feelings.
Yes, Cairo announced the signing of MOU between Egypt and Rwanda to implement developmental projects covering Rwanda's water needs and organizing training programs to exchange expertise in the field of water management and early alarm to face water crises. How do you see the importance of this step?
This is very important because we claim that we have the highest experience experts in the continent concerning the water issue, and we are giving this experience to all our African brothers who request for it. And now we are building the Julius Nyerere Dam in Tanzania. This is another thing. And in many countries we are helping exactly the water issue. As you well know, that the water issue is very important to us also, and we are trying to cover the lack of water in our country, because what we have of water, even with the River Nile, is not enough for our future projects.
So, sir, what are your expectations for progress in the Nile water file with regards to the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam?
I hope for the best always, and we have all the reasons to have many stories of success in this field. We have all the reasons. We have the good relations, we have the experience. We lack a little bit the capital, and we are trying to make the capital on the ground. And all the necessary elements to have stories of success is present, and we shall continue doing that, because Africa for us, it's not a joke. It is 51 countries supporting all our needs, especially the Palestinian question, and they are a good supporter and good countries in all the fields of international and regional levels.
So, sir, how might Egypt, Rwanda visits contribute to continental initiatives as the African Continental Free Trade Area?
Yes, it gives a sort of encouraging symbol of how two countries, one very big country like Egypt and a relatively small country like Rwanda, that they can cooperate and they can bring to the area many projects like that. So it would encourage much more countries to come in that field and to start serious cooperation between them and the Egypt. And this would give a very good story of success as a sample to other African countries.
So, sir, also, if we talk about the different fields of cooperation between the two countries, in your opinion, how can we benefit from cooperation with Rwanda?
Every country has its resources. Of course, they have resources. They have mainly agriculture country. 80% of their working forces are working for agriculture. And we have a long history with agricultural experience. We can give it to them.
Yes.
Coming to trade, coming to economic cooperation, but also there is one field we are proud about, which is the education. And there is something like 20% of the Rwanda people are Muslims, and they come to Al-Azhar Sharif to learn here about Arabic language and Islam, and they got sort of grants to study in Egypt. And I met many of Africans are proud that they are graduated from Al-Azhar Sharif. This is another one dimension which we do not give enough attention, but it is very important also.
Yes. So, sir, one final question also. There are cooperation between the two countries in the field of defense, like training, peacekeeping, counter-terrorism. How do you see the importance of cooperation in this field?
Very important, and to me personally, because I used to lecture at Nasser Academy, at the War College there, for some high generals from many African countries to cooperate in the fields of security and cooperation between all the armies in Africa. And they come to us here to be trained. Many of them also are learning in our military institutions. And this is another dimension which we are interested to cooperate and to make it even better.
So finally, I'd like to thank you, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, for being with us. And as we said earlier, that President Fattah al-Sisi received the Rwandan President Paul Kagame on Tuesday at Al-Ittihadiyya Presidential Palace. And the presidential spokesman, Mohammed Chinnawi, said that the visit comes within the framework of both countries' efforts to boost bilateral ties and open new horizons for cooperation in different fields of mutual concern. And today we will follow up on the visit and the press conference between the two presidents in the coming hours. And back to our reports from Africa, and Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli took part in the high-level meeting of the UNJ General Assembly marking the 80th anniversary of its foundation. Addressing the meeting was United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, who tackled the Assembly's basic principles which were currently breached. More in the coming report.
Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli took part on Monday in the opening session of the high-level week meetings at the 80th UN General Assembly in New York. The session, attended by senior officials and UN figures, came as the UN Assembly marks the 80th anniversary of its foundation. Madbouli delivered the speech at a high-level meeting to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Fourth World Conference on Women. Later on, Madbouli took part in a UN meeting proposed by Saudi Arabia and France on the Middle East two-state solution, during which a large number of countries announced their recognition of a Palestinian state. During the meeting, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, an outspoken critic of the Israeli war in Gaza, called for a state of Palestine to be admitted to the UN after a French-led summit on recognition. Sanchez said this conference marks a milestone, but it is not the end of the road, it is only the beginning. He said the state of Palestine must be a member. Following the move by Britain, Canada and Australia to recognize the Palestinian state, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to expand settlements in the West Bank, adding that no such state would exist. The move by the Western leaders, moreover, comes as the Israelis press their war in Gaza, where famine has taken root and the vast majority of the territory has been devastated by 2 years of war. French President Emmanuel Macron, recognizing a Palestinian state on Monday, reiterated that Paris will not open an embassy until a ceasefire in Gaza and the release of all hostages.
Well, dear viewers, that's all for Africa Today. Thank you for watching.